I came here to help people, not get the shit beat out of me.
A member of the far-right organization, the Proud Boys, got beat up outside a drag time story hour event in New York City on Sunday afternoon. So I'm going to show you a couple of videos. I'm going to get to details here. This is just a great story of F around and find out. So the Washington Press has my favorite headline of all the coverage I saw of this. Dragged. Proud Boys get beat up at New York City drag queen story hour. So before I even show you, more about this event and the details here, this is an image from the event. The very scary drag time story hour. Here is New York Attorney General Letitia James, who helped to host the event, saying drag story hour is a fun opportunity to get our kids excited about reading. Thank you to all the families who came out today for our incredible readathon. This is the crazy, horrible, dangerous stuff happening at drag time story hour. Somebody dressed up reading a book. You're going to see the commotion outside. Just like the juxtaposition of what is happening within this event versus what is happening outside the event is just absolutely wild. It's just a person reading a book. So more details here. Anti-drag queen bigots. The Proud Boys got a dose of their own medicine while protesting at a family-friendly show in New York City this weekend. New York Attorney General Letitia James had organized a drag queen story hour at a Manhattan LGBTQ center this past weekend to show her office's solidarity with the marginalized group. Pearls were clutched and panties were bunched as right-wing chaos agents converged on the event, which typically wouldn't attract much controversy in cosmopolitan New York City. The Proud Boys, however, got more than they bargained for while trying to intimidate the people attending the event. All right, so I got a couple of videos. Credit here to Scooter Caster New York from freedomnews.tv. So let's watch a bit of this. I may not play the whole thing because there's not a whole lot here to discuss, but let me show you. So this guy in the gold mask, you're going to see, is the one person that got arrested. I'll get some more details on that as to why. But they're arrested, taken away. Not much else really happening here. There's Proud Boys, a few of them standing outside the event. Just a bunch of clowns. Again, this is what's happening inside. Kids being read a book. Now, the man who was arrested with the gold mask was described by police via New York Post as an anti-drag protester who was arrested for assaulting a pro-drag agitator. An officer from the NYPD's Deputy Commissioner of Public Information's office tells Rolling Stone the man who was arrested is 53-year-old Robert Porco. Porco has been charged with one count of assault. The officer could not confirm whether the suspect was for or against the event. He apparently was against the event, slapping things out of people's hands and just doing, random agitating. The officer said no other arrests were made in connection to the event. Now, before I show you the guy that got beat up, by his own claim, I'm not just saying this, he says he got beat up. It's worth pointing out that Canada recently, in the past couple of years, has designated the Proud Boys as a terrorist entity, making it tougher for them to organize, to have financial support. So Canada has its problems, of course, but it recognizes the obvious, that the Proud Boys are incredibly far-right agitators, bring nothing at all positive to society. So they deem them a terrorist entity, and others should take note. Now, let's get to this clip. So I'm going to give you more context after, but let's just start with this guy again. This is from freedomnews.tv, and listen to what he says here at the beginning.
I'm an EMT. I came here to help people, not get the shit beat out of me.
Okay, I got to show you a bit more, but he claims, I came here to help people, not get the shit beat out of me. And
I have 2 other fucking.
He's very angry. So I'll likely have to mute a lot of these swear words because of YouTube, but people are saying, you know, get the F out of here. There's more comments I'll show you in a second here. But they're basically chased away from the event. So this goes on for a couple minutes, and they're just
We don't like Proud Boys all things. Can you tell us what happened?
I love it. New Yorkers chasing this loser away. Just as an aside, I love New York City. If there was a city that I could live in the U.S., and I love the West Coast, so it's a competition. You know, I like Seattle. I like L.A. not as much, but New York City, been there a couple times. Amazing people, atmosphere, the culture. I love it. So, you know, one day, if it's possible, maybe I could stay there for a few months, pretend I live there. But let's go to more details from this here. So as the event went on, a member of the Proud Boys, who you just saw there, allegedly fought with defenders. One of the people who was with the Proud Boys group says he got beat up. I came here to help, not get the shit beat out of me, said the person who, with visible blood on his face, ushered away from Drag Queen Story Hour event in New York City as protesters chanted, "Go back to Long Island," and F the Proud Boys. So this is a great point here from Vinay Krishnan. It's truly impossible to be committed to fighting fascism and to not be working to protect trans lives, particularly black trans lives. It would require a fundamental misunderstanding of fascism and how it spreads. So glad seeing New Yorkers keep each other safe. Now, the comments about trans people here doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the drag event. Those two are not directly connected. But point being here, if you're not willing to stand up for those who are the most marginalized in society, then you're not really fighting for true freedom. You're not really fighting on behalf of people. So it's really good to see just the amount of people outside here counter-protesting the protesters right there. A lot more people on the good side than the Proud Boys, who just appeared to be, you know, a handful of them there. This comment here from Letitia James. So, quote, "The recent rise in anti-LGBTQ protests, rhetoric, and policies has left New Yorkers, myself included, devastated and disappointed. But I know better than anyone that when the choice is between love and hate, between joy and venom, New Yorkers will always choose love and New Yorkers will always choose joy," said Attorney General James. "I am proud to have been joined by my colleagues in advocacy and government today in celebration of the love, joy, and family fun that Drag Story Hour brings to our communities. Hate has no home in New York, and I will always fight to ensure our LGBTQ plus siblings' rights are upheld and defended." All right, last thing. If you want to see the full video of what was going on there, this is about 7 minutes long. I'll link to it below the video, again, from Freedom News TV. Really good to see people stand up and fight for kids being able to hear a story. Somehow has become a contentious debate over whether or not kids should be allowed to hear someone tell a story who's dressed up. Pretty ridiculous.